There we go.
Got it. Bear with me here a minute. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. I am your club growth director, Ken Richardson, and with me today is my co-host, distinguished Toastmaster and past district director, Governor Phyllis Trudy. Good morning, Phyllis.
Good morning, Ken, and hello to our public. Thank you for coming to visit with us.
We're glad you're with us today, and our very, very special guest today is District Director Carol Campbell. Good morning, Carol.
Morning, Ken. Morning, Phyllis.
Morning.
And it looks like you got all dressed up for us today. Thank you, Carol. I feel casual. You know, I got this casual vibe going on because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you look like you're ready to conduct the TLI or something, or give a seminar.
It's morning. It's time to get up and get dressed. Why not make it happen?
Well, that's right. You're a school teacher. You teach math, so you're accustomed to getting up early and getting ready for the kids. So I guess you're on vacation now, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I don't have to go back until Tuesday. They gave us an extra day off, which is fantastic.
Wow.
Tuesday. Wow, that is terrific. I'm glad that gave you an opportunity to come on our show. I wanted to talk with you. You and I have known each other for a while now, and I think we both just a little while. We both joined, I think, in the same year, around 2007, something like that.
Yep.
But what led you to want to be a leader at the district level?
That's a good question, Ken. When I started on my Toastmaster journey, I got in because I did not feel comfortable giving presentations to my peers at work. And my husband also wanted a bi-monthly date. So I figured, why not? We can do this. As we continued on through our journey in Toastmasters, of course, you decide, okay, I want that DTM. Everybody talks about this DTM, this Distinguished Toastmasters. What is that? What do I have to do? And you decide, okay, I can do that. I can do some leadership. I can do some speeches. I can mentor. I can coach. I can sponsor. I can do all those things. That's fun. So I did that. And I thought, what's next? What do I want to do? And I got to thinking, well, we're getting to the point where our district is going to split and become its own district because we're 3 years old now. And I thought, I think this is a good time for me to work on my leadership skills to help the people in Southern Nevada and Southern Utah to work on their leadership and communication skills. So why not step in and grow? That's where I am. I'm growing. Boy, am I growing.
You're growing an ulcer, you're growing gray hair.
You're not supposed to see that.
I don't really see it, but I can empathize because I feel the same way. I'm like you. I started within the club and thought, well, yeah, I need to be a DTM. And I didn't really appreciate much beyond the club except contests, because I always loved contests. And then when I became an area governor, I thought, wow, there's a whole world out there that I really don't know anything about. And I know that Phyllis also, she was a district governor at the time. It was called governor in 33. And your story is somewhat similar, isn't it, Phyllis?
Really, I never thought about anything other than my next speech. I would give another speech and another speech. And then someone asked me to be an area governor director. And when my mentor found out about it, she said, oh, then we can get you distinguished Toastmaster as soon as you get done with that. And it's like, never even occurred to me in my whole life. I was one of those people that sat in a corner and didn't do any speaking. So for me to come out as a distinguished Toastmaster, there was a lot of support. A lot of people worked to get me to be a distinguished Toastmaster. And I think I told you before, once I reached that place, I had a party for 100 people to celebrate because so many people had helped me to reach my goal.
That's what I love about Toastmasters is you always have people who are there to help you, to guide you, mentor you, and support you. And I think that's just one of the most outstanding things that's hard sometimes to articulate in a brochure when we're trying to recruit new members. But it is there definitely, and everyone tells me that. So Carol, in your leadership journey, you've held many district offices. What would you consider your favorite?
My favorite. I'm not sure that I have a favorite because with every office comes rewards and growth. And it kind of depends on where you are in the moment. I try not to get too wrapped up in saying, oh, well, when I was an area director, I did this, or when I was club growth director, I did this, or when I was program quality, I did this, or division director, I did that, because everybody gets the opportunity to put their own personal spin on their leadership position at that time, as long as it's within the Toastmaster guidelines and rules and protocols. But I've enjoyed most of them. I'm not a big fan of the pandemic. It has caused quite a few hiccups and bumps along the way, but without the pandemic, we wouldn't be doing this because we would not have thought about going live on Facebook with a Wake Up with Toastmasters.
You're absolutely right. It's each of the challenges has brought us new opportunities, and learning how to use Zoom and how to improve our utilization of social media is one of those. But now that you're the district director, what is your biggest challenge this year?
I think, like most of the districts in the organization, membership is the biggest challenge. And that's not my personal challenge, that's the district challenge, because I think of this as all of us working together. And it's difficult to figure out how to get the word out to people when so many people have other things going on in their lives. I think the pandemic has caused many people to stop and reevaluate where they're spending their time. And some of them, which I think is good, are spending more time with family. Now,
I think you're right. When I talk to other club growth directors around the regions, particularly Region 2, I hear a similar story that the major impact of the pandemic has been to rearrange our priorities. And unfortunately, although we may not like it, sometimes that means they've decided to take a break from Toastmasters and they've dropped out. So it's a common story across the region, and I suspect in most of our regions around the world, not all, there are some that are growing, but I think that's absolutely correct. So what do you see as your goals and your plan for the rest of your year? And we're about at the halfway mark. So what do you think about 2022 and where you'd like to go in the next 6 months?
2022 is going to be a fantastic year. First of all, we as District 115 have our TLIs coming up. We have an in-person one coming up on the 8th, and we have an online one coming up on I think it's the 23rd or 24th. I know it's a Monday, yeah. 24th. One of my goals is to make sure that our club officers are trained. With that being said, there was an early bird, so hopefully they're following up and making sure that they have all their pieces. I know that we had a good turnout for our first ever early bird, which was fun. Then we need to move on to making sure that we have a good contest season and that we look for all the different opportunities for growth. We've got to get the word out. Don't be afraid to share your story in Toastmasters. It's a new year. Talk to people, because lots of people set New Year's resolutions. What better place to set a New Year's resolution than with Toastmasters to improve your communication and your leadership skills? We're here to help. Why not check it out?
Well, the other thing, I know you have had a especially challenging year, as did Kristen before you, because of the pandemic. And this is going to be the first year, come May 14th, I think, that we'll be back live and in person for our annual meeting. Can you tell us about the planning for that? Where do we stand? Do we have a venue yet?
We are in the process of getting the information back from the venue, and we're making sure that we have done our due diligence and checked on all the places here in the Las Vegas Valley. That way we're getting the best bang for our buck. We want to make sure that it's fun. We are changing up the scheduling a little bit. We want to make it new and fresh. And we want to make sure that people are coming to the convention for the idea of allowing growth. It's not just about one thing or two things. It's about putting them together and moving forward.
Very good. So I think it's going to be exciting. I know I have an appreciation for Zoom, being the host of this show 2 days a week with my lovely co-host. But I also miss that in-person connection that you get. So I think we've got our TLI scheduled both live and then again online. We've got our convention that's going to be live. So I think we've come up with a really good mix of, live and online that will attract, hopefully, a lot of people, a lot of our members, and maybe some new interested people and get people interested in Toastmasters. Phyllis, you've been with Toastmasters in both formats now over the last couple of years. What are your insights as to the way that this is coming together?
Well, you would think that from what I hear, that Zoom reaches so many more people. And if it reaches that many more people, why does the membership go down?
Good
and
point.
I think it's like, yeah, it reaches more people, but they're multi-club members, people that belong to many clubs, maybe one here in Australia, another one in England, and one here. So it's not reaching the new people that we need to find. In person, yeah, it's wonderful. There's nothing like being there live and getting feedback. And I always compliment people that are willing to wait a few seconds for the applause before they start speaking. It seems like when we're on Zoom, you get an introduction and right away you start speaking. That applause feeling, that love that is sent through applause is not there for people. So yeah, I like in person, but by golly, Zoom is mighty easy.
It is easy. We can come to meetings quickly. We can wear our pajamas if we want. But I love your discussion there of the differences in person and Zoom. You do have, we forget things like applauding, we forget how important that connection is in face-to-face. And I agree with you that there are certainly times when Zoom is appropriate. I think doing the TLI, Carol, I think have our members responded pretty positively to having the TLI online? What's your sense?
I believe that they really enjoy it. Being a school teacher and having taught online makes me a little nervous because I know what my students did. They logged in and then it went black. So I wasn't sure if my students were there. And again, we're dealing with adults, so I can't
Yeah.
imagine that they would do the same thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're going to the trouble to sign in and to attend the meeting online, that you're actually going to attend the meeting online. I'm surprised to hear you share with us that vignette, if you will. Was there no requirement that they keep their cameras on or some sort of tracking?
We asked them to turn their cameras on. And in my class, I did, come on, turn your camera on, turn your camera on, turn your camera on. I felt like a broken record. Oh, are there such things as records anymore?
I guess you could talk about records in terms of, being the best runner. I know that you
Right.
are a runner as well, but you certainly can't talk about vinyl records in the same sense that when we grew up for recordings. I want to go
Broken
back.
disc doesn't sound right.
What's that?
Broken
disc.
disc doesn't sound right.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, a disc in my spine? Did I break my spine? Is that what a broken disc is? And even discs these days, because everything is moving online. And I can remember, I don't know why, how some things just stick in your mind. I remember an interview on TV with Bill Gates, and this was, oh my gosh, 15 years ago or longer. And he predicted at that time that we would move more and more to an online kind of computing environment, and less would be the physical. And now we have everything stored in the cloud. So I think his prediction was right on. But getting back to our members, I would try to do a little bit of polling on some of our members to find out, where they stand. And it's informal, not very scientific, but it's really truly a very mixed bag. We have some people who are just fed up with Zoom. They've had it with Zoom, and I get that. And they are ready to go back in person full time. And I think Windjammers has done that. I think they're not conducting a hybrid meeting. They are full time in person. Is that, Phyllis, are you in that club?
That is true. I'm not a member there, but they did invite me to fill a role. And I told her I was not coming out to meet. But they're meeting at Skinny Dugan's, 7:30 on Wednesdays. So
I think they're
everyone's welcome. Anybody that wants to go and visit Windjammers.
Yeah, and they used to have really good breakfast there at Skinny Dugan's for really cheap, like $3 or something. You get.
Oh wow, that is cheap.
Yeah,
it was changed. It
hasn't changed. They have this huge breakfast with eggs and ham and hash browns and toast. It's just almost more than any one person could eat. But most of our clubs have elected to do something in between, a hybrid meeting, if you will. And we still have some that are online. Carol, when you talk to our members, do you see something similar? Where do you see us going over the next 6 months as hopefully the pandemic winds down again?
I'm hoping that more clubs will choose the online. That way, for those people who do want to meet in person for that actual face-to-face, shake hands if you're comfortable, fist bump, whichever, that they can get that. Because I do suspect that we have lots of members that are not really loving this living in a box. Because that's what I see here is the box. And it's hard to see and to evaluate a good speaker when all you get is this box. You've got, shoulders up and not an easy evaluation. There are skills that we have learned, which is very helpful, but I don't want the in-person skills to get rusty either.
That's a very good point, because I do think that we tend to forget some things, like Phyllis mentioned earlier, clapping and applauding and encouraging folks. And you're right. I find trying to give a speech standing up in this box is just a little bit more difficult because mainly of the equipment. If you have really good speakers and really good camera and what have you, and lighting, it takes a lot more work to pull all of that off. But I think you're right. The hybrid model is probably going to be with us for a while, because I know we're going to have some friends and members who are reluctant to begin in-person meeting. And I understand that completely. And we see it all around us. I just got on an airplane, and both ways, you're not allowed to take off your mask. You have to wear a mask while you're on the plane. Well, you can take a drink of water or whatever and a snack. But other than that, you have to wear that mask in all of our airports. You have to keep your mask on. In Nevada, we still have a lot of mandates for indoors. So clearly there are some concerns out there, and justifiably so. And we have to be prepared and flexible, I think, within our district to accommodate different modalities. And certainly the hybrid model is something we need to encourage, because I think that maximizes both, as you said, the in-person and the online. My biggest concern, though, Carol, and maybe you can address this, is the equipment requirements for hybrid meetings. If you don't have someone who has that equipment, or if they can share equipment, it's a real problem. Because I'll confess, I've been to some hybrid meetings that didn't really handle it well, not because of intentions, but because of a lack of equipment. Do you see any way, Carol, that the district can help our clubs along those lines?
The biggest equipment hiccup is the internet, your connection to the internet. If you've got a location that has a solid connection, you can run a meeting so much more smoothly than you can if you've got the Wi-Fi coming in and out. Most people have cell phones. And with that cell phone, couple of cell phones, you can run a meeting. It's not ideal. And if you've got the big screen in the back for your meeting location, then you can see all the people who are joining via Zoom, and it allows a more connected meeting. And I don't know, as a district director, I don't know what to suggest to people. I know I personally went out and bought the Bluetooth speakers that our immediate past district director recommended, because she's done a couple of presentations on how to run a hybrid meeting. Speaking of, she's presenting on the 8th. So and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
But if you use those speakers for other things, I can hook it up to my phone, and I can have one upstairs and one downstairs, and I can be listening to my music. So I can use it for my own personal entertainment, in addition to sharing it with my home club.
So your home club is a hybrid right now? And
It
those
is.
speakers, okay. So those speakers you feel are part of the key, because good sound is important.
Yes.
To having your meeting. What do you think about clubs sort of, I don't know, maybe taking up a collection from their members and buying club equipment?
Well, last time I checked, a lot of clubs have a treasurer. They have their own account and could be collecting dues every time. And I don't see anything wrong with a club using their club dues in that fashion. That's what they're there for, is to help the club to move forward.
You're buying equipment or supplies for your club. And I've noticed that even Toastmasters International is now selling the little circular lights and what have you. And I don't know what else, but they're sort of getting into selling the official Toastmasters hybrid hookup. Or maybe they're taking a system like that. Well, I noticed that we're almost out of time at 6:24. I want to leave some time for announcements. But Carol, I'd like to know if you have any final messages you'd like to deliver to our audience as we go into the new year.
Yes, I want to wish all of District 115 and all of our other Toastmaster peeps out there a very, very happy holidays and a very, very happy new year. I know that we're starting afresh. We've got 2 days and we're kicking it off into 2022. Please make it the best for you and don't be afraid to share.
Excellent. Phyllis, any final messages on the end of 2021?
To all of our viewers in all of our districts around the world, a successful new year. We're here for you. Please ask us for help and come and visit.
Absolutely. That's a great message. I want to thank both of you. Phyllis, you've been with me now since last year, and you've just done a great job. Carol, thank you so much for your insight and your holiday wishes and for being our district director. I appreciate that very much. For our viewers, I want to remind you that we do have the TLI coming up on January 8th, and we have that's the in-person version, and we have the online version on January 24th. If you have any questions or if you need the link, send me an email at d115cgd@gmail.com. I do want to mention that game night this week is not going to be Saturday. Well, it will be Saturday, the 1st of January, rather than the 31st of December. That was a decision that group made. So if you need that link, let me know. Or if you'd like to be a guest on our show, we would love to have you. Come on and tell your story. Tell us why you got into Toastmasters, how you've benefited from Toastmasters, and talk about your club. This is an opportunity to promote Toastmasters and to promote your club. So I'm going to sign off with my guest, along with my guest, and I'm going to wish everyone a very, very happy new year. I hope you're able to keep all your resolutions, something that I'm never able to do. I make them because it makes me feel good, and then I break them and don't tell anybody. So have a good day, everyone, and have a happy and safe new year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all.
Thanks, Carol.